The role of today's manager has radically changed, and it has become a challenge for many organizations to comprehend what is needed. I'm going to try to visualize what the challenges are with that. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a standard organizational model where at the top I'm going to have an executive, a CXO, an EVP or something like that. In the middle I'm going to have a manager. It could be a director or a manager or a senior manager. And at the bottom I call it the user. It's an individual performer, somebody who does something. Now in this world what we have learned historically is that what we do with this is that essentially this person directs, the executive directs the manager what to do, and then the manager manages the team to deliver against that, right? Now, what this executive want, at the outcome of this here at the bottom, what they want results. They want to make sure that what they get is exactly what they directed to. And in order to achieve that, many of them uses the one specific metric. Work harder, and you will get what you want. Twice as hard, twice the results. And everything is based on those results, measuring what we call volume metrics. Twice the many leads, twice the amount of business. Twice the amount of customers onboarded, like reduction, or twice the amount of clients successful. And so what you see down here, this model has led to a manager model. Now, as this manager, like in the mid, somewhere from 30 to 40 years old, they were managed by a person who generally taught them to work harder. However, this person down here often finds themselves a little earlier in the career, maybe mid-20s, late mid-20s to mid-30s. They were right in that first, second, and third job. And they were not raised on working harder. They were raised, as you may have heard me before, on working smarter. And so as they are now being managed by somebody, guess what they're being managed on? They're being managed on directive and activities. I'm going to direct you what activities to do, and I want you to work harder. And those two styles hit each other in front of you. This model is very much based on what we call a training model. I direct you and train you what to do. What we see today that managers need to do is they need to go to a coaching model. And in this, we're not going hierarchical, vertical, we essentially go horizontal. And it feels like everybody has an equal role to play. Now, in this, these arrows change. As a manager, I am no longer creating to my users. I'm no longer training them. I'm enabling them. And when I enable them to do their jobs. I enable them to train, to learn, and so on. And then what I do as an executive, I am empowering my managers. Now, these seem to be very small things and small words, yet they have so much an in-depth impact. First of all, it doesn't feel hierarchical anymore. It's not what my boss tells me to do. It is what my coach helps me to establish. What we see, the outcome of this, is not as much what, it is more like how are we doing things? Are we being smarter? Are we using the right tools? Where can we be more efficient in what we do? And the name of the game down here is efficiency. This model is a very different model that is way more in tune with today's organization. A younger organization, an organization that feels that they can contribute with something because the tools that they grew up with are the tools that we now need to use to be more efficient. As a result, you'll see that these managers need a different kind of training. These frontline managers don't need just training. Oh, here's how you compensate. And if somebody falls behind on an activity, here's how you get them back on track. And if they're underperforming, I know these skills are important. They're secondary important because their behavior is primarily set on managing activity-based performance. In an efficiency-based performance, I'm looking for conversion rates. I gave you 10 leads, you got 2 opportunities out of this. What happened? And you look at can we improve something in there? Not, I'm going to give you 20 and you need to get to 4 opportunities. It is an efficiency matter. Are you using the resources that are supplied to you in an effective and efficient manner? This difference requires that our managers are taught to no longer crack the whip in order to drive more activity. Instead, they need to create an environment where the team as a whole learns, a coaching environment. They set the stage. And rather than a manager telling an employee what to do, so to speak. They're saying, here's 4 or 5 more employees. You teach each other the best way it is to perform. And in that, they're using a more advanced employee who has already done it to share their knowledge with the other folks. It is a peer-driven model enabled by the manager. That is a more modern approach to, and it has a lot of new intrinsicies of what we are expecting these managers to do. Some people call these locker room captains, captains of the football team, and they're way more in tune than quarterbacking and, as if there's a single sole, person who knows everything. This is more like the group is smart and how can we leverage the group. This is a more modern approach and helps us understand and gives an example of what the manager can do in order to make the team more productive.